Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Sit Down, where I plan to have a review for you up by noon, and then I usually don't seem to be up until noon. So, today, hopefully I'll have this one up by 4 or 5 o'clock. I would like to express to you today my opinions and reviews on Joseph Conrad's. Read it for yourself. Was The Heart of Darkness a fun blast read? No. It was engaging. I never felt like I didn't want to keep reading it, but I felt like I was reading a book from high school. I skipped this book in high school. I spark noted it. I used the internets and cheated and didn't actually read the book, and I still scored really well on the test. The book is eye-opening. It's a required read, in the best sense of the word required. I'm not going to require that you read it. You know, at this point in your life, you probably don't have teachers that are requiring you to read it. But it'll change your perspective on the world a little bit. It's one of those things that occurs in your life, not just with books, sometimes with movies. Sometimes when you're hanging out with your friends, something happens. Sometimes a big fight with your parents. One of those events. This book is going to change the way I see things. I'm not exactly sure how, but I know that it's going to stick to me. I can feel it on my rib cage. It's not coming off. Let me give you a quick little synopsis. It's one of those framed stories, a story within a story. Marlow is our main narrator, and he's sitting on a boat with 3 of his other friends, and he begins to tell the story of the time when he led a steam engine boat, steamboat, through the Congo River into the Heart of Darkness. Yeah, I thought when I heard the title that it was a little melodramatic, but I think that defines what Marlow goes into pretty well. There's a lot of colonizing going on in Africa from many different nations, and along the way Marlow stops at these trading posts where white men are utilizing the native black men to harvest ivory. It's not a pretty sight. Marlow sees people dying, he sees people chained, but Marlow's goal isn't just to witness these tragedies. He's on the hunt for a man by the name of Mr. Kurtz. Mr. Kurtz changes every man he ever talks to. Not only is he a very influential man, he's also harvested more ivory than any of the other agents in all of the Congo region. How does Mr. Kurtz harvest 20 times more ivory than every other person in his same position? Why is he such an influential character? Why? Read it for yourself. I'm not going to give you all the answers. The language was a little tough. I was stumbling through this one. I did use spark notes a few times. Not in the high school cheating way, but to get a better idea of what I was reading. The language and the time period and the way Conrad writes, it can kind of throw you off balance from time to time. It's not like I was confused and I was out there, oh, where am I? But there's just some details that I'd like to have gotten a better concept of, and so I checked into spark notes, read up, said, oh, that's what I thought, or okay, that clarifies that a little bit more, and then I continued reading. Does that kind of work when you're reading a book sound enjoyable to you? Some people like to read books that are just a breeze. You read them, you're done. I enjoy books like that. Some people like books that you have to work hard to understand. A mental workout, you struggle a little bit along the way. Maybe you feel a little bit more reward when you finish it. I like books like that too. Make up your own mind. I'm glad I read it. When I finished it, I smiled. Like this. Okay, not like that. My girlfriend is going to kill me. I'm not going to say I have a heart of darkness, but there's a little tinge right there. A little bit, a scar of the history of humanity and what we were doing to each other. It's a classic. Every book I read is considered a classic, and it's important, even if it's not a cruise down Highway 85 in your convertible with the wind blowing in your hair. Maybe this is more like digging a 10-foot hole to get to the gas line. But when you get to the gas line, you're really happy that you got there. You're glad that you put the hard work in. My metaphors suck. I'm giving this book an 8.33 repeating 3. That's my opinion, and I can see a lot of people sort of varying on this. I do know a couple people who consider it their favorite book ever, but I can see a lot of people thinking that it kind of sucks too. I think you kind of know what you're getting into if you decide to get into it, so, you know, do what you want to do. Still don't have a closing phrase, so for today, I'll go like this. See you next week, guys.